This is Wendy with Love and Stampin'. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited that you're here. We are going to jump right in and talk about die cutting. So today doesn't necessarily have a start to finish project or card, but instead lots of tips and tricks and information for you. So we're going to start by just showing a die cutting machine, though most of you that are hanging out here probably already know what one is. Just in case we have a newbie around here who is new to card making, we're going to go ahead and show this and talk about it a little bit. So this is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This is Stampin' Up's die cutting machine. And this is the regular size, or some people call it large. I call it the regular size because the other one's a mini. So this is what it looks like. And the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine has this handle that you attach when you get it, the handle up here to pick it up, and then you push these sides down and they lock into place, and then your items go through this slot here. So we have, that comes with the machine, excuse me, the #1 cutting platform. And the thing I love about Stampin' Up's cutting platform is it tells you the different steps based on what it is you're using the die cutting machine for. Today, we are only going to cover die cutting. We're not going to talk about all the different things this machine does. We're just going to worry about the die cuts, but in another video, I'm sure I'll cover those other things. You also get plate #2, which you're always going to have in place for your die cuts. And then you have 2 clear plates. Now mine, obviously, you can see are well used. As you use your clear plates, they emboss into the plates, and that's just what happens. So these are labeled #3. Now there are other plates that you can purchase and get. Plate #4 is the 3D embossing folder. That one actually comes with the machine. That looks like this. So that is for embossing. Again, we're not going to cover that today. Okay, so that's the regular embossing machine. Die cutting machine. The way that you die cut is you remove one plate and you have all the rest of your plates here. Your base, your thin, what I call the thin die plate, and then your clear cutting plate. You take a die, and a die is just a metal piece that has blades. So there's blades on this side, and you place your cardstock in, lay your blade on top, place your clear plate down. You just pop your plates in, and then you crank and roll it through, and it will cut the image out. So I have several images cut that we are going to color today, because that's the main thing we want to talk about in this video, is different ways to color die cuts and different things you can do that are fun tips and tricks, and you know, maybe some things you've never done before. Okay, so that's how you use the big or regular size die cutting machine. And then we also have the mini die cutting machine. Now the mini die cutting machine looks a little bit different, but all the same concepts. You have plate 1 and #2 plates, and you just put your die cut in the center, place it down, and run it through. The great thing about the mini machine is that it's very light, very easy to transport if you want to travel with it. It does have this handle here that you add when you get it, but you can easily remove this handle for transport. And then you just have your little blades here, or your little plates here, that you take with it as well. So I love the mini machine, and it's on sale through March 31st, 2022 for just $48. So it's a great opportunity to take advantage of that. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about die cuts, different ways to color them, and different things that I want you guys to know. To start out, I want to discuss coloring a solid color cardstock. So oftentimes we cut solid color cardstocks for projects in varieties of ways for different uses. The thing that is fun about coloring these, and by the way, this die cut is the Ornate Layers dies, and it is retiring. So it will no longer be in the catalog. So if you want to pick that up, that's what you're going to want to look for in my online store. The link is below the video for shopping. So you can go to the link and then shop Last Chance products, and this will be one of the products on the list. And it's a set of dies that have these fun edges. This is cut in Flirty Flamingo cardstock. If you die cut in a colored cardstock, one of the things you can do to decorate this or make it have a little bit more pizzazz is you can use a solid ink color to ink on it. So we're going to use Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm using one of my blending brushes. I label my blending brushes, and I have a brush for every color. You don't have to have a brush for every color. These rinse off very easily in the sink. I have a studio that's removed from my house, so I don't have access to running water, which is one of the reasons I chose to go ahead and get a blending brush for every color. If you're in an area that's removed from running water and it's going to be a difficult thing for you to be able to wash your brushes out, you might want to consider getting more of these brushes. They come 3 in a pack, and I'll show you what they look like. They come in a 3-pack like this, and I believe they're $12, and the bristles are very fine, and there's a lot of them. They're nice and thick. I always have some of my blending brushes on hand extra just in case. So I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm going to use my blending brush, and I'm just going to start going around the edge of this die. And as I do, you'll see that this darkens the edge of this die. The lacy trim of this die gets darkened up quite a bit as I go, and it really just adds a little extra something to this die cut. So this is one of the easiest ways you can add color to a die cut. Really, all the ways that I'm going to show you today are easy, but this is one of the easiest, and I find it to be very, very effective and inexpensive. So if you have ink pads, all you need is a few blending brushes or blending sponges, just whatever you have to add a little bit of depth and color. And then you have this really fun look. So it's just a simple technique that's going to really add some pizzazz to your dies. Okay, so we're gonna continue around with this just a little more, just trying to get kind of an even feel. And then you'll notice what happens is in the middle of this, it's almost like it's glowing in the center is the way I like to describe it. It's like it's lighter in the center, and it gives kind of this like very focused look. And this is what I would call a vignette. So in photography, when you're editing a photo, you can add what you call a vignette to the edges of the photo, and it will darken the edges and make the focal point of the photo seem focused and brighter. So that's essentially what you're doing with a die cut like this. Okay. All right. So there's just your basic, simple ink blend a die cut with the same color as the cardstock, and this is what you're going to get. But what if you don't have a bunch of cardstock colors? What if all you have is white cardstock? And I think this is the case for a lot of people starting out with card making. They get the very basics in the beginning. I need my grid paper. Hold on one second. You definitely want to invest in some grid paper if you are going to do a lot of this. That and a silicone mat. So I love to ink blend on both of these items. And so silicone mats wash off under the water if you use the water-based inks. And these are just throwaway. But I can usually get 4 uses out of 1 sheet of grid paper. Excuse me. I think the cost of this grid paper is going up in the new catalog. So if you want some of it, it's a great time to get it. And FYI, Stampin' Up! Is increasing their shipping costs on April 1st. It's going up a very small amount, but it is going up. So that's this Friday. So if you want to place an order to get these goodies, I would highly recommend doing that before the shipping prices increase. All right, so we're gonna fold this over, and this is how I get 4 uses. Now I can use this side, and then I can open it up, fold it back this way, and I've got 2 more sides. So I'm able to get 4 uses out of every sheet of this grid paper, which makes it really economical. And I feel good about like not like basically being wasteful. Okay, so the next way that you can color a die cut, and this is just a white die cut. This is from the Artistic Dies, and it has some beautiful die cuts in it. It cuts out some stuff from the stamp set and then these pieces here. The other way is to use markers. So I have my Stampin' Blends here, my big old giant holder of them. And I'm going to take and start coloring these pieces separately. So this is the dark Granny Apple Green piece. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I really want, oops, I have more leaves. I really want you to see that if you have limited supplies, there are ways around having all the things. And you might be thinking, well, that's kind of weird coming from you because you're a Stampin' Up person and you sell this stuff, and wouldn't you want people to buy as much as they can? And of course I want people to purchase from me. That helps with my living expenses. This is my living, but I also recognize there was a time in my life where I couldn't afford a lot of craft supplies, but I still love to craft. And so one of the things I've kind of started realizing is I wanted to share some ways that you can get more out of fewer supplies. So if you just had a bunch of basic white cardstock, you could invest in Stampin' Blend markers, and then you could color all of your die cuts versus, you know, maybe, I'm trying to pick another color here. We're going to go with Succulent. This is, oh, that's Misty. That's not the one. Succulent. Versus trying to buy all the different colors of cardstocks and all of that. Now, that being said, over time, if you stick with stamping, you're going to end up with all the things anyway, because that's what happens to all of us. You know, we start out like, oh, I'll just get a few things, and then pretty soon we have all the things, and you know, that's how it goes. So here I'm just adding soft succulent dark, and then I'm gonna find my soft succulent light in here somewhere. I store my Stampin' Blends markers. Why can't I find it? I store them in this basket, and I rotate them on their side from standing straight up to being on their side. So I cannot find the other soft succulent. I know it's in here. What have I done with it? This is like when I feel like I need somebody here that will be like, there it is. Because you guys will probably, oh, here it is. I found it. See, I just needed to say that. Okay. So anyway, back to what I was saying. When you don't have a lot of supplies, there are lots of different ways you can stretch your supplies. And this is one of them. Buying markers, or maybe in making your investment in ink pads, and then you can ink blend all of your die cuts instead of having to cut them in solid colors. We're going to address that type of die cut here in a minute. Okay, and then we're going to use freesia, because why not? And color this piece here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. When I do my YouTube lives, I don't tend to chit chat during the live because I get too distracted. So if you're asking questions or making comments that you need me to address, I promise you that I will address them. I just can't do it right this minute. So stick around till the end of the video because then I will respond and answer questions. Also, I'm going to do a little giveaway here at the end. So if you stick around till the end, you can be part of the giveaway because I'm going to do a live drawing. So make sure you're thumbs upping and commenting and all the things to get you entered to win some goodies. Whew, that marker is strong. I have found some of them have a stronger alcohol smell than others, and I don't know if that has to do with the pigment. And by the way, here I am using the Daffodil light and dark markers to color. Are you guys excited to see this when it's all finished? It's going to be so beautiful. So this is the second way that you can color your dies without having colored cardstocks. There are very pretty ways you could color this though, or have this with colored cardstock. For example, if you were to cut it all in a solid, you still use your markers to color the other colors. There's just so many, the options are endless, really. All right. Let's see. Let's use polished pink, shall we? I'm just kind of choosing random markers. I really don't have a plan here as to my color combos. I'm just kind of trying to be gentle on the inside pieces. We don't want anything to rip or break off. And then I think we're going to go really bold and go Blackberry Bliss for this rose. So we've used polished pink, soft succulent, granny apple green, Blackberry Bliss, Daffodil Delight. Have I gotten them all? I think I have. Yeah. That's the markers we've used today. Okay, that's done. Isn't that beautiful? Let's put it behind so you can see how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? It's so gorgeous. Just a fun finished look. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna flip this over. Kind of even leaves a cool negative. If I would have kept it in the same place, you know, you could, that's another thing you can do to keep this in the same place. And instead of worrying about coloring this marker is dying. I use my markers a lot. So Stampin' Up! Doesn't have refills for their Stampin' Blend markers. You do have to just purchase new ones. They're $9 for a pack. The light and the dark, they come together in a pack. But I want to show you this trick too. See that? So if we were to do the whole thing with all these same colors, you would have this gorgeous thing you could have on a card. So that's another option. And let's throw that marker out. I save my caps that have my labels on them so I can reuse it. So I just take this off, save the cap, throw away the Stampin' Blend, and then I get the new one. All right, let's flip this over. So here's some other fun ideas I wanted to show you. I cut these hexagons from the Hello Beautiful bundle. This is in the the January through June mini catalog as a bundle, 10% off. Once it goes into the large catalog, I believe it's no longer a bundle and you won't get that discount. So if you want this, it's a good time to get it so that you get that discount. Okay, so we're gonna go back to that ink technique where we ink blend onto our die cuts. But we're gonna do something really fun. We're gonna add lots of different colors. So instead of just, not lots, 3, okay? Wendy, don't exaggerate. So instead of just adding one color with an ink blender to a die cut, you can add multiples. And here we are using polished pink, coastal cabana, and fresh freesia. And these colors kind of give me the 1980s vibe. I don't know about you guys. Maybe it's because I'm an 80s kid. When I see these colors together, they make me think of the 80s. And kind of like that Lisa LaFranc, remember that? Or was it Lisa Frank? I can't remember. Anyway, the one that had all the bright like stickers and colors and everything. That company, that's what it makes me think of. All right. So the great thing about this color combination is all 3 of the colors blend well together. So if I overlap into the pink or the purple, it's just going to make more of a purpley color, and they just look really pretty. All right, so there's that one. Now I could do this for all 3, but for the sake of time, because I have something else to show you, I want to do a fun little technique on this. You guys have seen me do this technique before. This isn't new. We're gonna take some water and just splatter it on top of this. And that's gonna react to the ink, and it's going to pick up the color. So then you end up kind of with this splattered, fun die cut. Now, if we have time, we'll do this to all 3 and maybe finish a card. But I wanna make sure I get to all my techniques before our time is up. Okay. Next is, if you have only white cardstock and you want to assemble a die. So this is the Daffodil Daydream dies, and it has all these pieces that cut out to form a finished, let me set this stuff aside, to form a finished daffodil. So what we're gonna do, I just stuck my fingers in the polished pink ink. That's not gonna look good on my daffodils. Is I want the piece under my daffodil layer. So here's the base pieces. These are the layer pieces. So for this, I want the base piece to be kind of white, but have a little bit of yellow. So we're gonna take watercolor pencils and just color quickly over the top. And I'm not putting a ton of pigment down. And then we're gonna use our watercolor brush, water painter is what these are called, and just color right over the top of it. And we're gonna have this really cool kind of watercolor finish. You don't wanna belabor it, and you don't wanna spend too much time running water over it, because this is not watercolor paper. So you can see here it's starting to bow a little. So if you saturate your die cut too much, it's gonna kind of warp if it's not watercolor paper. But remember, I'm trying to stick to the same papers here because I really want to show you guys how fun this is. So here we're going to use a little bit of orange in different areas. And then we're going to use yellow. And then we're going to go over this with our painter. And really just move, I want to move that orange around because I don't want it to be too concentrated in one area. Oh, oh, there it is. So just coloring the orange with my watercolor pencils. So I guess what I really want to show you today, or tell you, is purchase, if you're looking like I get this email all the time. What should I buy? What's the first things that I should buy? Or if somebody's purchasing the Stampin' Up! Starter Kit, which a lot of people do that to get the discount on the products, because you can get $125 in products for just $99. So, and you get to choose the product. So a lot of people just take advantage of that. And I get an email that says, I'm just starting out. What do I get? I have my basic supplies that I always recommend, like paper and cutters and things like that. But if you're kind of past that part and you want some other stuff, then my recommendation is to get the things that you can color with. You don't have to be an expert colorist. You can see here, all I'm doing is scribbling color down. It's not science. I'm not being super precise with it. I'm just coloring some color. And you could leave it just like that. You wouldn't even have to run it over with a aqua painter or water painter if you didn't want to. You can leave it plain. It's not a requirement to put the water on it. Aqua, water, same thing. Okay. All right. So this, well, we'll let that dry a minute. Okay, let's go back to this because that's drying. So this piece is going to get glued. To this piece. And now you have this fun dimensional look with your colors and the white kind of popping through, because daffodils have, well, there's different types of daffodils, but where I live, there's a lot of daffodils. And there's some that are a little bit more white and some that are more yellow. And even kind of have that orangey look to them. Okay, there's that layer. And you can see our daffodil is going to come together pretty quick here. So we can go a little heavier on this one with the orange. And then add in some of that yellow. This is making this one a little bit darker. Trying to avoid gluing it to the paper. All right. And then for our layer piece, we're gonna go more yellow. Now this die cut set does have stems and leaves that goes with it. I just didn't die cut any of those because they're gonna just be in green. And I really wanted to show you here how you could marry different colors together to get your die cuts to have even more interest. All right. Doesn't go that way, does it? Gotta pay attention to which way it goes on there. Okay, there's that one, and then we're gonna do this one. Although I think I only need one of these. Excuse me. The other thing you can do, I'm gonna do it right here, is you can double this up. So that gives even more dimension to this die. I need a swig of water. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add this second layer. So we wouldn't have had to color that base one if we were just using it as a builder piece, but I didn't think of that until now. So you're getting my ideas as we go. All right, so then these two go together. And then this guy goes out of the center. Isn't that gorgeous? So we'll glue these together. So beautiful. My fingers are sticky. You know what? I'm going to use a dimensional to pop this up in the center. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So that is a finished die cut using watercolor pencils to color it. Okay, now another trick I want to show you. Maybe we'll do it, you know what, I'm gonna use a totally new grid paper because that one has glue on it and I'm afraid it's going to cause me problems. So let's get the glue out of the way and we're gonna do another really fun idea for our die cuts, okay? So let's take this smallest die cut here, the smallest hexagon. Are you guys enjoying this? I want to tell you, I was a little bit nervous about doing this because it's different than my normal videos. Normally I do a card start to finish, and this has been a little different. So I was a little nervous about doing this with you guys. I'm not going to lie. But I thought, you know what? There's so many people out there that don't know all the tips and tricks, and somebody's got to tell them, right? So I know when I watch videos, some of my very favorite videos on YouTube are videos like these, where people are showing you lots of different ideas and tips on how to do a technique or something. I just really enjoy that style, that format. So I thought we would change it up and try it. Okay. And thank you to all of those who have already given me a thumbs up on this video. When you give a thumbs up to a YouTube creator, it's like you're saying thank you, and it's like you're letting YouTube know that you really love this video content and you want to see more of it. So it's helpful for everybody, is my point. All right, so here is our die cut all colored in with our fun colors, our 1980s sticker colors. Now we're gonna do something really cool. Let me grab my tools that I need. Okay, now we're gonna take this grid paper. We're going to put down our die cut, and I'm actually going to use my reverse tweezers. If you don't have a pair of reverse tweezers in your craft room, you should. These tweezers open when you squeeze them. Instead of normal tweezers, you know, you squeeze them and they close. The great thing about this is exactly what I'm about to show you. We're gonna tweeze these and leave them sitting here. And then we're gonna take Versamark ink. We're going to cover this entire die cut with Versamark ink, okay? Now we're getting into some stuff that's a little more advanced. This is not what a beginner would probably have on hand, but that's okay. We want you to see the potential of all the fun things that you can do. We're gonna take clear embossing powder and cover this die that we've just covered in Versamark ink with clear embossing powder, okay? And now I'm gonna get my heat tool, which will not reach all the way, so you'll only see the very end of it. And we're gonna heat this whole die cut. Okay, when it's finished, the result is gorgeous. Do you see that? The shine? Isn't that beautiful? So for a card, if we're making a card, we could have 3 different of these hexagons done in 3 different ways. Like this one's shiny, this one's got splatters, and then the other one we could do some sort of fun thing. So now you're thinking, but there's no embossing powder where the tweezers are. So we're going to take the tweezers off, and you can clearly see spot here that doesn't have it. We're going to move the tweezers to the other side. Let me clean them off here a second. They've got a little embossing powder on them. And we're going to repeat the same process again. And as you do this and add more embossing powder, what happens is this becomes thicker and thicker, almost like an embellishment, like it's its own, you know, sticker or something. It's very interesting. Okay, now we're gonna heat this again. You can see here. And voila. Now we've got this gorgeous, embellished, what I would call like an embellishment. It's almost like a plasticky feel, or like a, I don't know how you would describe it exactly, but it's really cool. So building up embossing powder is really cool. It creates this cool effect, and it makes your embellishment or your die nice and thick and sturdy. So that is another really fun technique that you can do with die cuts. And I think that's it. So now what I want to do is I want to answer some of your questions. So if you guys have questions about anything I did or products that I used, drop them in the comments. I'm going to move these here to the center so that you can see them. Like, wouldn't this be? No, I don't like that, but this would be beautiful on here. Add all the greenery with this guy. Very, very pretty. Let me grab my iPad. So if you're watching live, I can chat with you, and then we're going to do a live giveaway. So if you're watching the replay of this video, you will not be entered into the giveaway. I'm sorry. But we are going to do a giveaway for those that are here. Okay, let's see. Questions. I'm going to scroll through and look at your guys' comments here. Hello, everyone. So good to see all of you. Lots of returning friends. I see a couple new faces. Love how you are showing the dies. Thank you. So you guys are so nice. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. How do you ink blend without getting a mess all over your fingers? So that's a great question. So there's lots of different things you can do, but my favorite thing to do is to use a piece of Post-it note tape. This is linked below my video on Amazon. Also, you can get these reverse tweezers from Amazon. So if you go to this link to shop and add these also, you can get your reverse craft tweezers there also. So I take a piece of removable Post-it note tape. I put 3 fingers down like this on the sticky side, and then I hold my paper and place an ink blend that way. And you can walk your fingers up as close as you need to, and that just keeps your fingers from getting all icky. Oh, sorry, Jill, I didn't see that you wanted me to zoom in. I can zoom in some now so you guys can see the projects a little bit closer. The finished stuff. Beverly likes to buy basic re-inkers and a couple packs of uninked spots. Gives you a cheaper way of collecting ink colors. Yeah, that's a great tip. I turn my warping cutting plates over and cut on it for a while. Yep, that's a great idea. Love the daffodil. When you're ink blending, just a scrap of paper to keep fingerprints off the creation, and the scraps keeps the ink off your fingers. Yeah, that's a great tip. You do need some of these tweezers. for sure. Yeah, they are like a third hand. They also work great for tying bows. So you know how you need somebody to hold their finger when you're tying a bow? Just use these. Clamp it down and it's done. So somebody on here told me that. I like when you build up the embossing powder. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Josie. She said she likes my color choices. What is the name of the rectangle die? These are the ornate layer dies. Let me see if I can find them. I pulled all of my retiring product and put it away. So, I don't see them. If Miss Deborah was here, she could tell me where they are. I don't see them. Oh, yes I do. Here they are. Just kidding. Oh, maybe I lied again. Look at all these dies that are retiring that are so fabulous. These are words, but the triangles, the stars, the stitch stars, stitch triangles, these are the ornate frames. And then these are the ornate layers. So there's several layers that look like this with the scallopy doily edge. Yeah, Cindy said she didn't know you can double emboss. Yes, you can. How do you use dazzling diamonds? I got some and don't know how to use it. Help, please. I love everything you make. Hey, Betty. So the dazzling diamonds, you need a heat and stick powder with, I think is what you're talking about. So it's a heat and stick powder. And it's kind of like a glitter. I'm trying to see if I have it. I don't have it. Like a glitter embossing powder, I think is what you're referring to. So you use a heat and stick powder first and then add it and then heat set it. Thank you for the awesome tricks and tips. Keep them coming. What do you do with your retired products? I pull them off my shelves, I put them in a box, and then I give them away. That's what I do. I usually use them for an ordering incentive. So like probably sometime in April, this little tip for you, I'll have some sort of a flash sale where if you place a $100 order, I'll fill a mystery box full of products that will be for over the last year and a half or so and ship it to you. I don't know if I'm doing that for sure, but probably. How do you decide what to buy? Do you have a particular kind of stamp set you like? I like flowers and beach scenes. So I basically buy whatever calls to me, whatever I really love. Like I used to not really care for florals when I was younger. And as I've gotten older, I like florals more and more. I don't know if that's a coming of age thing. Maybe you start to realize the beauty in nature as you get older. And then I really like nice sentiments that have nice fonts that have images in them. And I'm a sucker for every single animal stamp set that exists. So there's that. They are retiring a lot of great dies and stamps. You're right. Make sure you check the link in the description of this video for my shopping link and go to the last chance products so you can get any of the items that you don't want to miss out on. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Let's do a quick giveaway. I thought we would do the blending brushes since I talked about them a lot today and we use them a lot. Well, I'll give away a package of blending brushes and I'm just going to choose a random winner from the chat. So go ahead. I'll give you a second here to just chat in and tell me which one of these techniques was your favorite, and then I'll choose a winner. Just getting a quick sip of water here. it's so funny. Sometimes when I go live, I'm like, my throat is really dry and I feel like I just need to drink a bunch of water. And then other times it's fine. I don't know if it's has to do with the weather or what. Love watercoloring with splatters. The watercolor pencils. Clear embossing on the die cut. Yep, that's fun. Splattering. Nice. Love the colored in die paper. Oh yeah, coloring through this, you mean? Like using it as a mask? That's fun. Watercolor ink blending. Using the blends. Very nice. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and choose a winner. Here we go. And the winner is, before I choose the winner, you have to be in the United States to win, just so you know. I can't ship these out of the United States. I would get in trouble with Stampin' It. Katrina Perry. Katrina Perry. So Katrina, if you're on here still, all you have to do is email me your address and I will get your free Stampin' Blends in the mail to you. Congratulations. And if I don't hear from Katrina before our next YouTube live, I'll put these up again for another giveaway. Okay. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had a wonderful time. Thank you for anyone who's new to our channel. Come back and join us again. Usually we have a card start to finish. Today I wanted to show you lots of different ideas and techniques, and we just didn't have time to do a card start to finish. We do fun folds. We do all kinds of fun stuff here. So basically any sort of card making that you want to know about or see, you've come to the right place. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and thank you so much for taking your time to be with me. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.